Well, it probably would have helped if I actually brought this. Where's mine? Thank you. Okay, that's all right. It'll get us started. It's only one. Okay, good enough. This was the call to order. May we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Carnevale.
Here.
Councilmember Lamb. Councilmember Gutierrez.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gregory. Mayor Ross.
Here. Do we have agenda finalization?
I think the attorney has an item related to the closed session.
Yes, I do. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, council members, we do have one item that we would like to add to the agenda this afternoon to your closed session. It's a conference with legal counsel with regard to one matter of existing litigation, Cathedral City versus Fantasy Balloon Flights, case number 5:25-CV-01490-SSS-DTB. Sorry for the long description. This is an item of subsequent need under Government Code Section 54954.2, paragraph B2. The need to take action, or we have a need to take action before the next council meeting. That need is to discuss a mandatory settlement conference that the federal court has ordered the parties to participate in. That has just been scheduled this week. We just got the date this week after the posting of agenda, and it's going to happen before the next council meeting. So we needed to talk about settlement position or options with the council tonight. That will take a vote of at least 2/3 of you, if you'd like to add it.
So I move to add.
Second.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Gregory and a second by Councilmember Lamb. We'll do a roll call vote for this. Councilmember Carnevale.
Aye.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb. Mayor Pro Tem Gregory.
Yes.
Mayor Ross.
Yes,
The motion carries all ayes.
thank you very much.
Thank you, council.
And next we move to public comments. City Clerk, will you take charge of that, please?
Public comment is the opportunity for members of the public to comment on items that are within the City Council's jurisdiction but not on the agenda. Because of restrictions contained in California law, the City Council may not discuss or act on any item not on the agenda, but may briefly respond to statements made or ask a question for clarification. The mayor may also request a brief response from staff to questions raised during public comment or request that a matter be agendized for a future meeting. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes. If you are a member of the public and you wish to address the City Council, please complete a request to speak form available at the entrance and submit it to the City Clerk. You will be called upon at the appropriate time. If you have materials or other items to present to the members of the City Council, please do not approach them. All materials shall be presented to the City Clerk for distribution. We do have one member that would like to speak.
Thank you.
Mr. McCormick?
Good afternoon, Mr. McCormick.
Good evening, Mayor Ross, City Council. I never know which to address first and which to address last, so if it's wrong, you have to excuse me. Somebody's require one or the other. I've never learned which should be addressed first. At any rate, my ex and my plight for the last 11 years has been felony crimes against us. We do not have any criminal record, not even a parking ticket. My military record, I am a decorated United States Marine Corps veteran, impeccable record. All of the crimes that have been committed against us has been from Congress quack, who I will call quack, because the first code of ethics by a doctor is to do no harm. And he has harmed me personally and directly, and I don't consider him a doctor whatsoever. At any rate, the plight of our reality has been going on for 11 years. We need to be made whole. We need to be made whole. I appreciate the apartment that I got, that I'm not on the street anymore. However, I should have a single-family dwelling with millions of dollars in the bank for all the crimes that have been committed against us, and my ex as well. She is living in a situation where she is being threatened moment by moment of eviction because of the trailer that I purchased and gave to her. The land in which she is residing on is it's either a private property owner's land. At any rate, code enforcement threatened me that they were going to evict that trailer and impound it. The way we got there was Palm Drive RV Court, RV Park, and Desert Hot Springs, because I did not purchase the manager's Mercedes-Benz for $800, which also had an oil pump problem, probably to the tune of at least $4,000 by the dealer to repair that. Threatened, because I didn't purchase that, within 2 weeks he threatened to call animal control on my dog and threatened to evict us. 2 months later, we were illegally evicted. KARV, who sold me the trailer and co-signed for the park, said you do not have any jurisdiction or any authority over this. It is a slab of land, and they can evict you anytime
Thank you,
they
Mr.
want.
McCormick.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I don't have any other request to speak forms, but if you are a member of the public and you wish to provide public comment, please raise your hand. And I see no hands raised, Mayor.
Thank you so much. Our next item up is a study session for Find Food Bank presentation, palm tree maintenance, and fall 2025 special events season preview. Yep, you're up first.
Actually,
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
they're
Find
all
Food Bank is
separate-
up
They're all
first.
separate items. So the first one is going to be Find Food Bank presentation, and Mr. City Manager will probably do the introductions for us.
Introduce Ms. Espinosa. She's been here before you before, but go ahead. We're happy to have you with us.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of your time. Mayor Ross, City Council members, city staff members, Cathedral City community, thank you so much for having me here today. We really appreciate the time that you give to us every year as the Regional Food Bank. We always like to make sure that we're keeping all of the cities up to date on the state of food insecurity for their community and for the entire Coachella Valley Desert region. It's very, very important for all of us to not just be aware of our own cities, but what's going on around us too as well. But more specifically, it is September, and in September it is Hunger Action Month. And so Cathedral City for many years now has been lighting up in orange during this month to show your support of people that are suffering from food insecurity and letting them know that you as the city are there to support them and are aware and are doing what you can to make sure that they know where their next meal is coming from. Find Food Bank is part of the Feeding America national network of food banks. We participate in it along with all of our other 199 regional food banks throughout the United States because solidarity and unity right now is absolutely critical for people that are in need. So for what I'd like to do right now is, because this is part of a study session, I'd like to give you an updated report on what is going on in Cathedral City with regards to some facts and some figures and some data. We all know that as people are making decisions, to have the right data in place to be able to make decisions and consider is always absolutely important. And so that is part of our role as the Regional Food Bank, is to make sure that we're always up to speed as one of the primary authorities on food insecurity here in our region. So for those of you that don't know Find Food Bank, we've been around, and actually our origins start in Cathedral City. We used to have a small warehouse here in Cathedral City before moving out to Indio to build a larger warehouse. So we feel like this is part of our home too as well. We moved out to Indio in about 2008 and 9 after our warehouse here in Cathedral City burned down. It was about 10,000 square feet, and with that, the community got together, had this vision, and said, you know what if we built a 35,000 square foot facility, and what could we really do for food insecurity then? And they had the space out there for us in Indio. Just recently now, we've built another 40,000 square feet on top of that 35 because the need continues to grow, but we continue to find more food from so many different resources throughout the United States that we can bring in here to our area and then be able to distribute to our local community. So we advocate on behalf of our community across the United States. For Cathedral City specifically, right now, through the most recent food insecurity reports, which is a conglomeration of Census Bureau data, unemployment data, and other areas of study from third parties that the National Office of Feeding America employs to help us do this study. It's one of the most comprehensive studies in food insecurity in the United States, and including the federal government looks at our statistics to be able to make decisions through. We have Cathedral City at 14.8% food insecurity right now. It is a little bit higher than the median for our county, but definitely not the highest rate of food insecurity here in the Valley. So we still have some work to do together as a team in order to make sure that your residents know where their next meal is coming from. But what I can say is the work that we've done together over this past year has been wonderful. We distributed over 1.2 million pounds of food here in Cathedral City over the last 12 months.
Wow.
Find Food Bank in the last 12 months distributed over 20 million pounds of food, so 1.2 million of that came here to Cathedral City. With regards to the amount of people that we served in Cathedral City alone and Find Food Bank's community mobile markets, it was over 6,000 client interactions through our community mobile markets. The residents served throughout the entire Coachella Valley at all of Find's community mobile markets was 37,912 Cathedral City community members served throughout these. So sometimes they don't get served in Cathedral City. Sometimes they'll get served in Palm Desert because they may be working in Palm Desert, and that's the easier access for them to get to because they may not have been able to get to the one here in Cathedral City. And that's the reason why we try to educate everybody, is because we all work together as a team. Sometimes our residents may be receiving services in somebody else's city and vice versa. So you have to look at it holistically as opposed to independently. We served a total of 52,227 people. When you combine both Find Food Bank's community mobile markets and all of the Cathedral City agencies, meaning the partner organizations that have their own local food banks and their own local food pantries, like the Cathedral City Senior Center, we supply anywhere between 75 to 100% of their food to them so they can serve their clients with healthy and nutritious food as well. So 52,227 client interactions over the last 12 months in Cathedral City alone. That is something so proud. That is something you should be so proud of because it means that people are able to receive resources here in your city. When we look at the other outreach services that are happening here too as well, Find doesn't just distribute food, we also provide outreach services like CalFresh Outreach, like Workforce Development Outreach, like Medi-Cal Outreach. Over 195 residents received outreach services through Find Food Bank and their partner organizations specifically for those areas too as well. So for us, it's important for you to know that. It's important for you to know that there are still people that need help. It's important for you to know that the situation right now is still considerable and that we all need to be doing our part to be able to make sure that they receive the services that they need. I'm here to answer any more of the questions that you have with regards to things that weren't delivered through this impact report. Anything that you may want to know with regards to current situation, current environment with regards to feeding people, I'm here for you to answer your questions.
Thank you. Councilmember Carnevale.
You went over something that I really didn't catch. You said you're at 14% at the beginning of your presentation. Could you explain what that meant? I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, or we got to work on the percentage. I didn't understand that.
So 14.8% are what's deemed people that are food insecure. So it's people that are in a economic situation that the data point says would most likely not be able to receive 2 to 3 square meals a day, that they are skipping meals because they have other things that they have to focus on, like paying for rent, paying for housing, paying for medical bills, paying for daycare, having enough money to put fuel in the car to get to work. Many people think that the only people that are food insecure are people that are homeless, and that's actually not the case. Of the 125,000 people on average that Find Food Bank and the partner agencies serve every month, only about 2 to 3% of that are actually homeless. The rest of them are fixed income seniors that are living in homes. They are adults that are working but are struggling to make ends meet because their employment doesn't give them enough money to be able to cover all of their expenses. It's children and kids that are in school. In fact, 86% of all of our public school children combined here in our Coachella Valley are on free and reduced lunch, which is actually one of the key markers of food insecurity. If you take those children that are receiving benefits from the public school system, you multiply that here by average about 3.5 to 4 people in their household, because we have multi-generations that are living together, they are suffering from the same thing that their children are suffering from too, which is wondering where their next meal is coming from.
Okay, so is the 14.8%, is that goes on population that we have here?
Yes, so the population that you have here in Cathedral City, we approximate 14.8% of them are people that are food insecure.
Okay, just a follow-up question. Has that percentage increased or decreased over the last year?
Over the last year, it's remained about the same.
About the same. Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councilmember.
You and your team are fabulous. I just wanted to say that, and I got a chance to be introduced to your 2 newest team players, and you look wonderful.
Thank you so much.
It's great to see you.
It's good to have hair again.
Yes.
Except when it's 120 degrees outside.
Anyway, it's all good. So my question was, and I had heard this, but I didn't ask a question at the time, and now you brought it up again. How is the contact made? You said you have workforce development outreach. How does that happen? How do people know that you even offer that?
Sure. So with regards to workforce development, we have programs at College of the Desert right now that are doing a combination of both helping people have access to food through college campus pantries, and we know with College of the Desert at both the Indio and Palm Desert campuses and campuses around, there's Cathedral City residents that are attending those schools. Not only do they have the ability to have access to that food, we're running a program in partnership with College of the Desert that is training people through volunteer service hours, how to be able to do inventory control systems, how to be able to do warehouse and operations and supplies. And for the 400 hours that they do for Find Food Bank and volunteer services, they're receiving a $10,000 stipend through a combination of a state grant and kind of like, it's called Cal Volunteers program, through a state grant type program in order to be able to receive those. We also help people get linked up with Riverside County Workforce Development for people that are looking for gainful employment that might be on the in-betweens. And then Find Food Bank's getting ready to launch their workforce development program in their new warehouses. Oh. We're very excited. You guys have RSVP'd already for our grand opening that's happening on Friday the 26th, and we'll be looking forward to showing you around a little bit more as council members what that workforce development program will entail.
Councilmember?
Yes. Well, you already answered one of my questions. When was the grand opening? But thank you for your presentation, and thank you for everything you do. One of my questions is, has the decisions and new changes in administration changed the amount of food or money that that food bank, Finding Food Bank, receives?
Yes. So again, just so we're very clear, Find Food Bank is an apolitical organization. As a nonprofit, we're not able to be partisan on any side, whether it's purple, green, blue, orange, or red. But what we can say very factually is that yes, there has been some changes that are made with regards to funding that Find Food Bank received. from the federal government. There are a couple of federal programs like the Emergency Food and Shelter Program, where the funding has been placed on pause. Fine Food Bank has been receiving EFSP funds for probably close to 15 years now. There are CDBG funds, so the Community Development Block Grant funds, those have been put on pause. And so Fine Food Bank receives funding through those, along with a few other programs that are here within our Coachella Valley area. With regards to the food supply, the base programs have not been touched, which is great. There was bonus product that was coming in, meaning the Emergency Food and Shelter Program, or I'm sorry, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, which is one of the longest commodity programs that the federal government has deployed into communities. Dates back into like the 60s and 70s. The base program of that has been untouched, so we're still receiving food in the same amount. There were extra supplies that were being sent to us. And when the first executive orders came down, those extra supplies got cut immediately. Those were through the CCC funds that were authorized at the tail end of the last administration. So those programs got put on hold and then canceled. They were subsequently replaced by another pot of money, so we were able to get product back to us, but not to the same degree as what was cut, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yes, it
So we
does.
were happy some came back, but some didn't. And instead of it being protein items like chicken and eggs and pork, it came more in the forms of grains and vegetables. For the food banking world and for our food pantries, one of the hardest things to come by are the really healthy proteins. And so it was a loss. But yes, we have been affected, and we are continually watching to see how we have to accommodate or compensate for any other changes that may be happening in the future. But so far, we're still continuing to hold strong with other resources that we have from different avenues that are not federal government.
Okay. My next question is the questions that was asked earlier by Councilmember Carnevale, the 14.8%, is that normal or below normal? Where do we stand when it comes to other cities?
You're a little bit above average. You're a little bit above average. For Riverside County, the food insecurity rate is around 12%, and you're at about 14.8%. So you're a little bit above average for the county.
And my final question is, when people come and receive food, do they show an ID? Do you know if they're documented, not documented? It doesn't matter, I assume, correct?
We feed anybody that shows a need.
Okay. Good.
And so there's one program that requires it, which is the Commodity Supplemental Food Program. That's a food box program where we have to actually register clients, and that's been a long-standing requirement long before any of the executive orders were coming down. So that program we do, that's about a caseload of about 4,500 clients that we have of the 125,000 that we serve. But we are a Feeding America food bank, and so because the majority of the food that we receive is donated product, it is required to go out actually without any kind of exchange for anything except for just sharing with us that you're in need of food assistance. I think a lot of the times people ask us, like, is it being abused? Is the system being abused? Because you're not asking for any of these things. I've been in the food banking industry now for almost 15 years in different areas around the country. And I can tell you that sure, there may be some, but the percentages are very small. I think at one point in time a study was done and it showed that less than 2% of abuse was going on against the millions of people throughout the United States. For here in the Coachella Valley, I can tell you that if you're standing out in line for an hour and it's 120 degrees outside, I guarantee you that you need it.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you so much for coming and presenting today, and for, of course, all of the work that you continue to do. So I know you partner with the city on a food waste reduction program involving commercial venues that sell food, whether it's stores or restaurants. Can you maybe touch on a little bit of your work on that and how it kind of folds into the whole picture of the feeding the hungry?
Sure, absolutely. So you're talking about SB 1383. Oh, don't we love that number? SB 1383. So yeah, CalRecycle SB 1383 program. Before it was even launched, we were already starting to talk with the city about how we could partner together to make it easy for you to meet your jurisdictional requirements and be able to make sure that when audited by CalRecycle, you had a full program in place that was meeting the intent of the food recovery program, specifically for Tier 1 and Tier 2 food generators, meaning grocery stores and restaurants and hotels and other places that were doing mass feedings. Find Food Bank, our origin stories, of course, are rescuing food from the back docks of grocery stores and whatnot. So we're very well versed in making sure that food that is absolutely edible is recaptured and then brought back out into the community for people that need it. In this case, because we were doing that already, we partnered with the city to say, you guys just work with us. We'll be able to help you if you have the ability to be able to help us continue this program in a strong sort of way and be able to capture all of those pounds in food to be able to then go back out into the lines. Now, it doesn't all stay, what we rescue here in Cathedral City doesn't all stay here in Cathedral City because we're very efficient when it comes to distributing food, right? So if we pick it up on a Tuesday, we may have a distribution later that day, and it's not here in Cathedral City, but we want to get it out right away. And vice versa. Food that's coming here from SB 1383 Rescue in Palm Desert, let's just say, may be coming out here and being distributed in Cathedral City. So there's a cross pattern. But we partner with you that on every year. We actually, all of us just got audited by CalRecycle, and they are actually having me present at a statewide CalRecycle meeting for how we all work together here in partnership with one another, because we've developed this really nice symbiotic relationship to fulfill the requirements of CalRecycle and help people in a very effective way. Thank you for that question.
Debbie, it's been forever. How are you?
So good, so good.
That's really great. I'm glad to hear that.
And thank you again so much for honoring us at the last State of the City. We really appreciate that.
Couldn't imagine anybody more deserving. I have laid awake at night worried about funding. I have thought about how much is going to be cut. And of course, I don't have a pipeline to go online and see how much has been cut or how much money's been taken. So, I generate my own concern until I'm frothing, right? So I was very succinctly, can you just say, or can you just share, what percentage of income do you have this year as compared to, a few years ago when you had full federal funding?
Sure. In a very succinct sort of way, Find Food Bank is a nonprofit. We have multiple pots of funding in order to make sure that we're not heavily reliant on one or the other. Because when one falls, we want the other pots of money to be able to sustain us. Otherwise, we're not doing our job. The federal government funds represented about 1/5 of what we were receiving. But we have state funds, we have county funds, all of the other city, all of those. So all of them work together. I can tell you specifically with EFSP, that was about a $50,000 fund that we have not received. With CDBG, it totaled probably about, all of the CDBG funds combined together, close to $200,000. And so that's the differential that we have right now. With the bonus product that was taken away, so was the administration funding to be able to get that out. So that was probably about another $60,000 to $70,000 that we lost in federal funding. But again, it's one of the reasons why we have diversified funding, is because we can't stop even if a funding pot stops.
I just don't want anybody who's listening tonight or people who are in the audience to think you've got this. Yeah. Because I believe you do to the best of your abilities. Yeah. But you still need help. Everybody still needs help.
Everybody still needs help. Yeah. And I think for us, for anybody that's listening tonight, I think it's important for people to understand that Find Food Bank, as the regional food bank, supports not just the programs that we run, but over 100 nonprofit organizations and community centers and churches actually receive food from Find Food Bank in order for them to be able to distribute it out to the county too. So for us, it's important to stay strong, not just for the clients, but for all of the other nonprofit organizations that receive food from us. For example, Cathedral City Senior Center, of the 1.2 million pounds of food that was received, that was distributed here in Cathedral City, they received over 100,000 pounds from Find Food Bank just at the Cathedral City Senior Center alone.
That's amazing. And I hope, again, whoever's listening, whoever is in the audience, continue to give. It's a very, very worthy organization. They do not screw their money away.
No,
You're very frugal with it. I know you are. And I thank you so much for coming this evening.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Before you step away, Madam Clerk, do we have any public comment on this?
I don't have any request to speak forms for this item, but if you're a member of the public and you wish to provide public comment, please raise your hand. I see no hands raised, Mayor.
Thank you so much for your time
Thank
today.
you.
Stay
we
strong.
appreciate it.
Stay
and
strong.
We'll see you at the grand opening.
We'll look forward to it. So next is item B. It's palm tree maintenance. There is no specific recommendation except for you to come on up and tell us about it.
Thank you, Mayor. This is actually follow-up from an item that was raised during future agenda items at a previous council meeting. And staff has done some research on this and has some information to present to you all. And the recommendation is just that you provide discussion to us so that we can determine whether further action is required or not. Andy?
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. Andy Firestein, and I'm here to facilitate a discussion with City Council. So again, we do not have a recommendation per se, but we want to share some information on the city, how we respond to issues related to palm tree maintenance, and as well to give a sense of the lay of land, how other cities are managing regulating palm tree maintenance. So we'll start with just talking about some of the different species that you see here in the desert. So we have illustrations up on the slide. I'll pronounce the Latin names once, and then I'll just refer to the common names. So we have the Washingtonia robusta, that's the Mexican fan palm on the left. That is the fastest growing species, grows to a height of about 50 to 75 feet. That is not native to California, but rather is native of Baja California and has a 15 to 18 inch diameter trunk. In the center we have the Washingtonia filifera, that is the California fan palm. That trunk base is wider at 3.5 feet in diameter and has a mature height of about 35 to 40 feet. This is the palm tree that has the distinctive palm fronds, and when they're not removed, it has a skirt that hangs down from the tree. On the right, you have the Phoenix dactylifera, the date palm. That grows to a height of 60 feet with a trunk width of 2 to 3 feet. In your staff report, you have a couple of attachments, some additional material for you. There's a lot of information on all of these species. And as well, I do want to point out the significance of the California fan palm to agua caliente. So there is material in your staff report that provides a lot more information on that, but it is significant to their history and culture, and I think that merits some attention as we begin this discussion. So Cathedral City itself, we do not have any regulations specific to the maintenance or trimming of palm trees. Now that's not to say that we don't have tools in our toolbox that allow us to be responsive to issues that come up from the failure to maintain a palm tree. In your staff report, we have references to multiple sections of our enforcement code that allow us to address the impacts when they're not maintained, such as fire hazards, vermin, rodents, and other safety hazards. That does allow us to require the maintenance or trimming of palm trees when the fronds have fallen on the ground and constitute dry or dead plant matter. That may be a fire hazard or a rodent harborage. We don't get many complaints, but when we do, we have found that the tools in our toolbox are sufficient to allow us to respond to those issues. Looking at other cities here in the valley, Palm Springs has a policy for the annual maintenance of trees that are owned by the city of Palm Springs. This is part of their urban forestry program. So they do actively maintain their palm trees that they own. They are phasing out the Mexican fan palm trees in the public right-of-way, so that is not going to be part of their palette in the future. Palm Springs, Desert Hot Springs, Rancho Mirage, their nuisance codes are a lot like ours on private property. Palm Desert, they have a non-specific tree pruning regulation for private property, so it's not directed to palm trees, but to all trees. They also went through a recent effort to define the Mexican fan palm as a nuisance plant species and have prohibited that in landscape plans for new development as well. That's not a species that they use in any city-initiated project. The reasons for that are multiple, but principally it does not provide shade or the benefits that other tree species do. There are several cities in the valley that do require palm tree maintenance. Indian Wells is one of the more prominent examples, and some of the material in your packet is from the city of Indian Wells. We also found 2 other examples. Coachella requires palm tree maintenance, requiring the removal of all dead fronds. That's not specific to any one species, that's for all palm trees. We have not confirmed or clarified with Coachella whether that is enforced proactively or how many complaints or how many citations they've had. Indio is similar, except that for the California fan palm, the fronds may remain in place for the purpose of forming a skirt. So as I led with in our introduction, we have other nuisance regulations in our code that allow us to address the impacts when palm trees are not maintained, the same that we have with other trees that are within the city. And we have been able to use those tools in the toolbox to address complaints when they do come in. This is not a substantial or a significant complaint for us. If the city were to move in a direction to require or regulate annual tree maintenance, this would be a significant impact on our code compliance staff, especially if that were enforced proactively. The city could also consider a similar measure to what City of Palm Desert did. As you know, we are underway with a development code update. We've also pursued grant funding to look at how we could look at climate resilient landscape and creating a landscape palette for the city. We could look at a similar measure as what Palm Desert did to address the Mexican fan palm as a nuisance species and to discourage that or to prohibit that as part of landscape design palettes in the future. So as I close out my presentation, really this is meant to facilitate discussion with the City Council. Staff, we're not recommending an amendment to the code. We believe that the tools in the toolbox allow us to address the impacts from the lack of palm tree maintenance. We would suggest looking at prohibitions or identifying nuisance plant species as part of the development code update, but other than that, we're here to answer any questions you may have and to facilitate discussion with Council.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Lamb? Councilmember Carnevale?
I'll wait. I'm not still formulating in my head.
Councilmember Gutierrez?
Thank you. Well, thank you for your presentation. The only thing that concerns me is that was not covered or talked about is that when palm trees are not trimmed and the palm fronds are dried and dead and they fall on neighbors' yards, and that constantly happens. And as a matter of fact, one of our residents has actually spoken once or twice regarding palm fronds, and also that when they're not trimmed on time, in a timely manner, the seeds or the fruit that the palm trees give out actually falls into his pool. And many pool people actually complain that if that is not taken care of immediately, that it damages the pool. Okay, so this is you cover everything else regarding fire hazard, safety, environments, and rodents. So that's the only thing that is not covered. How would you address that?
So it's a complex issue, and I'll say that there's 2 ways we can address this. One, if we have a tree, and if it's a palm tree, if it's any other tree, and that tree has died, we do have language in our code that allows us to address a dead or dying tree. So that is something that we can address in that manner. Now, if this is a palm tree on private property, and these are the fronds that many trim on an annual basis, those are falling on private property. That really is a private property issue between those property owners. That is not addressed in our code, and that's not something that we currently have tools to manage. We don't get many complaints about that, but the response has been that that is a private property matter between those property owners. We do have language when those palm fronds are falling on sidewalks, when they're falling on streets, when they're falling on the public right-of-way. That is in the code.
Okay. And if we were to decide to actually add part of that into our current code,
So if we were to do that, my recommendation would be to look at a measure similar to the City of Palm Desert. And the City of Palm Desert, it's not specific to palm trees. We can make it specific to palm trees, but rather than requiring annual tree maintenance, simply looking at the impacts of falling limbs, falling palm fronds, and managing it that way, as opposed to requiring annual palm tree maintenance.
yeah, well, even though that we have plenty of codes in our books, our staff is overwhelmed by what we have. So I don't foresee us just going out there and citing everyone that does not trim their palm trees. We would probably just do it on a complaint basis. And I would look at more at, if we're going to change to more something similar to what Indio, the city of Indio has, or Coachella, not Palm Desert or not Indian Wells.
Right, so my recommendation again would be to look at the City of Palm Desert because their standard doesn't require, Indian Wells is the opposite example, right? They've got very specific dates where palm trees must be trimmed on an annual basis. That's extremely difficult to manage. That would require proactive management. And I would say that for our staff, that would be extremely challenging. That would be a burden on our code resources. If we were to look at a regulation similar to the City of Palm Desert where whether it's general, all trees, or if it is specific to palm trees, it simply is managing the impact that it can produce on another property. That is something that could be enforced on a case-by-case basis in response to a complaint. I think that would be more manageable for the city for us to pursue a regulation like that.
Well, thank you. I don't want to overwhelm our staff, but I definitely want to make sure that we are able to address any complaints for our residents that have such complaints with their pools regarding all the seeds and everything that is done. So that's my biggest worry, because everything else seems to be covered. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
So thank you for the work that you did on this. It's an interesting topic, and seeing the differences in the cities. Of course, all of the cities are different too. As you mentioned, some of the cities like Indian Wells, they have much more specific requirements. I mean, frankly, they're mostly a gated city. They have HOAs. So when they put these codes in, I think a lot of the enforcement probably falls on the HOAs, or that they can follow up with the HOAs. That would be a completely different story here. I mean, we have a few, but I know when this was first kind of brought up, I was a little surprised, because it seems sometimes we have little problems that, as you mentioned, are really neighbor-to-neighbor problems, and the city, for some reason, feels they want to interject in there, and or it happens that the city is required to interject in there, and it doesn't really solve anything, except now, instead of being working with their neighbors to address the problems, and perhaps being upset with their neighbor if they don't address the problems, now they blame the city, and the city is expected to address the problems. It almost appears to me that there isn't really a problem here that people in the large scale aren't working out between themselves. But we're going to try to propose something that could end up being a big Pandora's box. It's interesting, the research, but and part of the research being that you do have codes in place to address safety, health and safety issues, which of course is very important. But it would almost seem like we would be making a declaration of what a palm tree should look like, and then what's going to happen next. It's going to morph into other trees. My neighbor's leaves blew in my yard. I don't like the tree that they have because it loses its leaves. So city, I want to, pass an ordinance that you can't have a tree that loses its leaves, or I want to have trees trimmed a certain way. It seems to me that suggestions like this put the city in the position of being the parents over the neighborhoods to try to help everybody get along. And to a certain degree, that is what we do. The police department does that to a certain degree. But we try to limit that to health and safety and not just what I like and what I don't like. I may like to have a nice, clean gravel yard. My neighbor might prefer to have lush trees. So whose wishes prevail in that case, because the gravel yard might blow dust into somebody's yard. The tree yard might blow leaves into somebody else's yard. It seems to me that certainly if things become a health and safety issue, then it does become important for the city as the ultimate parent to come in and say, look, you need to fix that situation. And if you don't, then we have tools to make that happen. But it seems that we risk creating something very unfriendly by trying to impose what we think a yard should look like when it's not a health and safety issue. I did appreciate the one handout also that you have in here that talks a little bit about wildlife, because believe it or not, we have wildlife here in the Coachella Valley, and we're on a flyway and those types of things, and often those animals rely on a certain amount of trees and a place to rest and build a nest and those types of things. And again, not to the point where it's creating a health and safety issue, but if we try to get so that everything is so manicured, one might argue that it goes against nature. So for those reasons, I appreciate your presentation, but I also appreciate that you seem to indicate that there are tools in place for the health and safety, and I'm not interested in exploring ways to try to regulate what my neighbor can choose to have as far as their yard, as long as it's not a health and safety issue. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have anybody from the public who would like to speak? Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Did I just bump right over you?
No, you went to me first, and then I said I'll pitch in.
All right, he's pitching in now. This is him pitching.
Thank you.
Knock it out of the park, buddy.
No, I'm not going to do that. But my thoughts were the same thing. When do we stop? I mean, bougainvilleas, everybody's bougainvilleas winds up in my yard. Oleander leaves. Next thing it's going to be Indian laurels. They're too high. I agree with Mayor Pro Tem. It's just going to keep growing and growing and growing. The desert is indigenous of the palm trees. That's part of the beauty of the desert. The trees, the landscaping, the beauty. So there's some leaves blowing around. The wind blows out here. That's desert life. If you don't like that, move to the city, concrete towers, and have no landscaping around. But I think, the whole idea is the beauty of the natural plants that God has made, put on this earth. I think the beauty of it. They're a little bit messy, and if it doesn't hurt anybody, fire, health, anything like that, then just let it be. And again, I wasn't for that, the camera on the code compliance vehicles, because it's going a bit too far. Again, I think this is going a little bit too far in the community, telling somebody, you got to palm there, you can't put this kind of tree in, or you got to trim this tree here. So if you're confident that we have enough tools in your shed that we can keep going the way we have, I'm good with that. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
And I would just like to say, and based on your presentation, thank you so much for this. And the discussion, I agree, it doesn't require any action on our part. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to try this again.
We do have one member of the public that would like to speak, Sunshine Herrera.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, Ms. Herrera.
Afternoon, Mayor and council members. I want to respond to the palm tree maintenance discussion, specifically references in the staff report to the cultural significance of the Washingtonio Phil palm. First, the city made this statement without consulting the Agua Caliente Bandicoya Indians. Cultural knowledge is not the city's to interpret. Proper government-to-government consultation is the only way to responsibly include tribal perspectives. Second, adding a cultural reference without tribal involvement feels like tokenism. It creates the appearance of respect, but in reality, it sidelines the very people whose culture is being discussed. Third, accuracy matters. The relationship between the kuya and the native palm is a living tradition. It cannot be captured in a few sentences or old articles. Without tribal voices, the risk of misrepresentation is high. Finally, this is about respect and trust. For generations, decisions about our homelands have been made without us. If Cathedral wants to honor the Washingtonia Phil, it must begin with direct dialogue with the Agua Caliente Band. So tonight, I ask this council to formally commit that no future city reports or policies will reference Native culture without consultation with the tribe. This simple step would show Cathedral City values accuracy, respect, and a general government-to-government relationship. If you want to look at other cities, such as Indio's policies, they worked with the Cabazon Kuya. That's a route to go. One other thing, Councilmember Gutierrez, if we had banana trees and the bananas started falling in the neighbor's pool, would we have a code for that? It is a fruit that's falling off those palm trees. Just food for thought. Thank you, Council.
Thank you. Do we have any other members?
I do not have any other request to speak forms for this item, but if you're a member of the public and you wish to provide public comment, please raise your hand.
This item is for presentation only. No formal action is required, and it takes us to our last study session event, which is our Fall 2025 Special Events Season Preview. Good afternoon, Mr. Hunt.
Good afternoon. Go ahead and pull this up for you real quick. All right. Well, I'm excited, as I usually am this time of year. We're getting, we're gearing up for our busiest fall yet here in Cathedral City, and through the support of you all as a city council, we've got a lot of exciting things planned, and including the first debut of our Fall Taste and Sound series, which we're excited to gear up here in a couple weeks. And so it obviously all starts kind of once that October calendar hits, but I think it's even really Labor Day. We start to really see that calendar move closer, and a lot of the excitement that I'm happy to talk to you about today for the Fall 2025 preview. So Coachella Valley's Battle in the Desert, which has traditionally been kind of the first kind of kickoff event in the amphitheater. That's Saturday, October 11th. We did experience a record crowd in 2024. Proceeds generated do go to local charities, Diaz Boxing Academy, the Cathedral City Police Department's Explorers program as well. And this is produced by Jesus Gonzalez, an officer with the Cathedral City Police Department. We've got boxers from Texas, from all over the country that come and compete. It's sanctioned by USA Boxing, so it is kind of an officially sanctioned event. We had great attendance last year. You can see Councilmember Lamb duking it out there with her husband David and the poster design. We have worked with the organizer to take your feedback from council to work in the city's logo, its placement, and the marketing. I have seen a lot more of that this year, I will say, particularly in the media coverage and some stories they've done on NBC Palm Springs and KSQ in the lead up and promotion. So I want to make sure we're well taken care of for the support that council's provided for that event for many years. Halloween, I believe Vice Chair Antonio Bechu, Parks and Community Events Commission, kind of brainchild of his and that group, obviously very supportive all across the board from our PACE commissioners of this event. And we don't have the final details yet, but we will have a Feliz Navidad competition that'll be similar right around the Snowfest event in December. So stay tuned. We're working on the final poster design and getting some details from the commission on that. This is from 9 to 10:30 in the morning, Panorama Dog Park. We're starting to get some really good media coverage for this. It's got great photos. You can see the new poster this year, a mixture of scary and adorable, as we always see. And I really like the look-alike edition of last year of kind of matching your dog, so we'll bring that back. And first, second, and third place winners for prizes, and our wonderful sponsor, Grocery Outlet Cathedral City. They've also sponsored our Rainbow Crosswalk, Rainbow Crossing painting party each year as well, with food and snacks. So really appreciate that group over there and everything they do to give back to the community. Halloween Spooktacular. I know this is, Councilmember Gutierrez has always told me this is his favorite, so we're excited to have this back on Sunday. We build it as kind of a Saturday, Sunday headliner. Saturday, you come with your dogs dressed up. Sunday, you bring the kiddos. We certainly encourage adults who want to dress up that day as well, but we'll leave the bikes and the costume contest to the kids and judged by our council, which we're excited to have you back for that. 50,000 pieces of candy weren't enough last year. We've run out every year, so we'll see if we can keep that. I think we've gone up to about 60,000. We'll see how that carries us. I think we ran out in the last hour last year. 3,500 attendees. I've seen it get up as high as 5,000, so it's a really steady attendance. Has a really strong built-in audience. We do, obviously a decent amount of marketing for all of our events, but this one I feel like has kind of a life already built into it, which is great. DJ music from Jacob Sway Productions, DJ Shauna. Mr. Zebra has been invited back once again to do the food, and so opportunities to win free bicycles. And then live stream Blood Bank, the bus will be back. We had a really good participation in August at their summer event. After kind of being a little underwhelming, to be candid, the last couple of years we picked up our pace to get them some donations during a time of need, and they've utilized Spooktacular as a beneficial event as well. And then I really want to give kudos to DRD, Desert Recreation District. Scott Sear and Cynthia over there have been fantastic. They've really elevated the event experience for us. They're providing a lot more of the kid-friendly components and activities that will be available this year. So I think you'll see some magical touches from that team. It's been a really great collaboration from the word go with them. They've really kind of feels like it's branched out into a bigger group, a big family of communications and events. So we're excited to work with them. Fall Tastes and Sounds. So this kicks off on November 4th. We're going to do a Pride-themed night. That's Palm Springs Pride that is happening that weekend. And so we'll have a drag show performance in the amphitheater for that. I'm excited to work on that. And then we will have a Veterans Day cookout kind of theme, working with Nick's Bistro to get the hot dogs back out there again. And we'll have a nice kind of Veterans Day cookout. I think it'll be good weather for it. It'll be nice. And then this year, Cathedral City High School band, we reached out to them. They're traveling for competition this year. So we went to Rancho Mirage High School, who, I've heard from some parents, it's like, hey, we got Cathedral City kids here too. So, there's a decent amount of students in that high school. So it'll be nice to have a little variety there and give them an opportunity to use the amphitheater space. So we're excited about that. And then the Dreamboats, I think it speaks for itself. It was 2,200 last year in the amphitheater. You can see the image there. Really great. I think we're going to have an additional food truck this year. I think we were a little tight on one last year, so we're going to be a little bit more strategic about, it's always that balance. You want the business owner to win, and then when you oversaturate, they don't win, and then you hear about it. So you want to make sure that it's, reasonable while also giving the audience a chance to have a good experience as well. So we did expand some of the portable potty access, toilet access, kind of right outside in the garage area. I think we'll promote that a little bit more if we're able to work that out again with Burtech, who's been a great partner with us for all of those as well. But Dreamboats is certainly a community favorite, and I'm excited to have them back both in the fall and in the spring series. Palm Springs Pride Parade. You can see, I always love these photos. They're some of our most colorful and vibrant each year. And those t-shirts, I'm telling you, the black t-shirts with the Rainbow Pride logo is really, they just continue to be really popular. And then this year, we're going to have a branded seal on the back for 10 years to celebrate our 10th anniversary of LGBT Plus Days. So it'll be kind of a commemorative limited edition item as well. So we're going to put that on the back this year. I mean, attendance continues to be around 125,000 plus. So this is similar to the Palm Springs International Film Festival, one of the best opportunities for us to get the Cathedral City name out there and our inclusivity and everything we do for our community. So it always promotes two events, Balloon Festivals, usually a couple weeks right after it, which is great, and then LGBT Plus Days, which returns March 6th to the 8th of 2026. So we're really excited and already kind of brainstorming about some new themes for our decorations this year. Cathedral City International Hot Air Balloon Festival. So you can see, you know, working in some branding with the retro kind of themes and colors and the balloons, and really like the group that we've been working with, Fried Design, on some of that. Like their phrase and their slogan too, drive in, rock out, lift off. I thought that was creative and really cool. So we're excited. The opening night show, Queen Nation and Radio Ready. In the amphitheater, and I've got a little Queen Nation taste. It's about 90 seconds. I don't know if I'll play the whole thing, but I'll give you a little bit because I think they're really one of the best tribute bands in the LA region. So I'm excited to have them, followed by an opening night balloon glow, and we'll have the drone light show again Friday night. Headline concert act. Can't divulge the name, but we do have an offer in. We're deep into negotiations, so I hope to have something back for you very, very soon with that. So we're excited about getting that. Getting our sponsorships lined up. It's been really a great week for that. Putting the finishing touches with Agua Caliente Casinos again to be our presenting sponsor. Westin Rancho Mirage being our hotel and venue sponsor again. They've added a Sunday brunch and balloons event at the Westin. We really haven't had the activation on Sundays at this festival that I've really liked over the last 10 years. And so I think that one will be, we're still exploring some details for an enhanced event that could happen Saturday night at the casino as well. So really excited. We'll have daily balloon launches all 3 days. We're working really, really hard on this one to make sure that it can be as successful as possible. So with that, I'll play a little bit of Queen Nation. I'm going to take you out of that because that feedback's driving me nuts. I'm sure it's driving you crazy as well. Work out some of the audio kinks with IT on that. Snowfest, I'm really excited. It's one of my favorite photos. I'm going to stand back a little bit. One of my favorite photos of Cathedral City is, you know, it really does look like a snowfall came in on our lawn right in front of the Civic Center with all those kids throwing snowballs and playing up there. It's just a really cool experience, and I believe we have Sunshine Herrera here who sponsored the snow last year and the last couple of years, and would love to bring that component back again this year and make it even bigger and better. So we're really excited about that. And then train rides continue to be a huge hit. The Ugly Sweater Contest, I think, has some legs. It was a lot of fun last year. We didn't get quite as many participants, but I think you can see the photo. I mean, it was just with Mayor Pro Tem and Mayor there with, I believe that's Patsy Koken. So a really great event. The Santa and Mrs. Claus that we've had, Laura and Greg Hunt Little, have just been fantastic. I mean, they're booked. We have to get them early. We pretty much booked that like the day after the event now to get them on the calendar. So that'll be a lot of fun. The Elf Workshop, I want to give Karen Riley and Scrap Gallery kudos. I mean, from the word go, that thing is just packed and nonstop. And, you know, the kids are like, you know, the parents are having to drag the kids out of there. So it's actually a really great experience. So really, really excited about that. And Comfort Air is back as our presenting sponsor for that. They have increased their investment in that festival and that event. So we're excited about that. More to come on sponsorship announcements and event components, but we're excited about that. Adam Chastain, my events and recreation coordinator, has done a really good job taking on a lot of the logistics for that. Palm Springs International Film Festival, January 2nd through the 12th of 2026. This really is the great opportunity to support our Mary Pickford Theater right in downtown. You know, it continues to be, I think, one of the better foot traffic periods of time for them. We're getting more screenings for the Mary Pickford each year. And then this year, with kind of an enhanced sponsorship level, we'll have one of those cool videos that plays at the Film Awards, too, to promote Cathedral City. And so working with their creative team on that, Ann Blaylock, really good experience with the Palm Springs International Film Festival folks. So Family Day is an enhanced experience this year as part of our agreement. So they're going to to do that in the amphitheater. They've done it in the Town Square Park area, and it's gotten a little bigger and it's evolved. So we're going to work with them a little bit closer on that to ensure an experience that I think our guests will be really happy with. It was mostly food trucks, face painting type of activities, but I think we want to enhance it a little bit, make it open for a bigger audience. And with that, I'll, as always, answer any questions that you got.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Councilmember Lamb? Councilmember Carnevale? Councilmember Gutierrez?
No
You guys
questions.
are just
Can't wait to
easy
see
peasy
him.
lemon
We'll see you all
squeezy.
there.
No,
Thank you.
not yet. Mayor Pro Tem? Oh, all right, so I have just a quick one. I love Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
I love what we do at Halloween, but I have a daughter who was born on Halloween. And when the doctor took her, she said, "It's a ghoul."
That's
We'll
great.
look forward to it at the next event.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ryan, do we have any other non-sponsored events coming into Cathedral City that you didn't mention, or?
Yeah, we have a plenty. I think the feedback I received recently was just to kind of focus on the ones that are
Okay.
typically our kind of sponsored investment. But yeah, we've got a full calendar. I mean, we're up to 27 calendar weeks in the amphitheater. We've got a number of our autism
okay.
events that'll be back. A number of third party. We've got a Soul Springs Festival coming in February. So yeah, we're cooking. It's every weekend you look, it's gonna be busy.
All right, maybe the city manager might want to have you report that one time.
Happy to.
Kind of
Yeah,
curious.
happy to send you our full calendar.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Just one second. Do we have anybody from the public who would like to speak on this?
We do not have any request to speak forms for this item, but if you're a member of the public and you wish to provide public comment, please raise your hand. And I see no hands raised, Mayor.
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you
time.
all. Appreciate it.
Now we are going into recess for closed session. Mr. City Attorney, will you please read the closed session items for us?
I would be happy to, Mayor. We do have two items. The first item is item 3B, conference with real property negotiators with regard to property located at 68010 Ramon Road in Cathedral City. Your property negotiator for that matter is John Corella. The other item you added at the beginning of your session as item 3B. It's an item of subsequent need. It's a matter of existing litigation in the case of Cathedral City versus Fantasy Balloon Flights.
Okay,
If there are
and we
any
are.
members of the public who had a comment about any of those items, they could make that now. If not, we could recess into.
Yep, thank you. So do we have any members of the public who would like to speak on this before we go into closed session?
I do not have any request to speak forms for this item, but if you would like to provide public comment, raise your hand. And I see no hands raised.
All right, we'll see you all in a few minutes.
Minutes?
Well,
A bunch of minutes?
I'm wishful. I'm wishful.